So, namaste. This is the greeting from Nepal. I'm very privileged to be standing here and talk about American dreams, which is like I'm now 49 years old. I've been traveling to many parts of the world and seen quite many different people. And this particular program, which is because in Nepal, anybody who studies higher education, whatever study they do, the main aim is to go to America. And they prefer to come to America and never go back to their village, their country, leaving everything in chaos. So my travel to America was from 2002. And I must be very happy that I could go back and do something there. So that has been now recognized. And thank you, Alicia, who was there in 2011. And I've got two projects. So I'll just tell you a little bit about my previous project that was started in 1992. That was specifically for certain kind of people who are available in Nepal, like leprosy affected people. So, and then later we wanted to do something for ecology, eco-sensitive work, including society, and also repairing the world, how we have destroyed it. Yeah. So this is how the little drop on the hot stone we are trying to do, and this is a big. So I was in University of San Diego just before a few days, and I feel this particular program is more effective for my life, for the life of the earth, and this is very important that we slowly take one by one and help heal the earth. Yeah? So to talk about American dream is it's a dream for all people to come to America and work here, earn money, and go back. But from our point of view, like the sustainability, how people are working in other part of the world, how they are living in other part of the world. How can we heal the earth? Like how can we heal the place where we are living? So this is what we are trying to do a little bit there. And if I'm not, just ask me questions if you want to know something more about it. So myself, I was trained as a physiotherapist. That means we are working to the human being, one-to-one. And in 1992, we thought that that was not enough to get the treatment for people. So people with leprosy were never daring to go back to the village, even they were fully treated with a lot of expensive medicines. And we established one little organization in Kathmandu city where we could integrate leprosy and non-leprosy so that they're all integrated in society. So that worked quite well, and we put our head, hands, and heart together, so that got nominated with Global Challenge. So I'm going to show the movie, 8 minutes, that tells everything about that thing. And in 2008, that was our unfortunate. Yeah, it was the end of 2008, December 21st, the longest night in the world. We lost our son, who was only son and 7 years old. And we traveled to the United States, me and my wife, and that is the only gift I could give to my wife, to bring her here. It's also American dream. But she was never happy. She wanted to go because there are a lot of other reasons. We wanted to go back to Nepal, and we initiated one little organization that's called Kevin Rohan Memorial Eco Foundation. We were doing like a biodynamic farm, small school, clinic, so everything up that we're trying to create an eco hub where people could come and spend their time, give their gift, and also learn from us, or teach us. So this is kind of international hub we want to create. So in last 6 years, we have had little more than 1,200 people stayed there. And this, I must be very blessed about this thing to share about our foundation. Yeah? So I'm going to talk. So So this is the organization we established in '92, especially for, and it tells you a lot about Nepal and Nepali problems. And later I will speak about the foundation.
Capital of Nepal. It's one of the few places people still get leprosy. But as the cases of this terrible disfiguring disease dwindle, disabled beggars remain a common sight on the streets of the capital. 1 in 10 of the population is disabled. Even among the afflicted, lepers are often considered untouchable. But not to World Challenge finalist Shanti Sewa Griha, meaning in Nepali, peace, health, and home. Shanti Sewa Griha is dedicated to giving lepers and other disadvantaged people a productive place in society, helping to overcome in the process centuries of prejudice. Physiotherapist Krishna Gurung was one of the founders of Shanti Sewa Griha, an organization that was specifically set up to help victims of leprosy.
Even after very expensive surgical and medical treatment, they never dared to go back to their village, their society. They were begging around the temple area and having the same problem time and again. So we founded Shanti Sewa Griha here in Kathmandu.
The project, based near the Pashupati temple in Kathmandu, has grown to help not just lepers, but all those who are willing to help themselves, however disabled they might be.
I was a motor mechanic, but I got diabetes and then I had to have both my legs amputated. If I hadn't found Shanti, I don't know what I'd have done, but I'd be a beggar on the streets now.
The local market for handicrafts is limited, but fortunately, one of Shanti's co-founders, Marianne Grosspeach, lives in Germany and finds a market for them there. It's not just making products for export. The former patients are expected to contribute to the running of Shanti in whatever way they can. Shanti's philosophy is that the former beggars must be helped to help themselves. 14 years ago, it bought some land outside the city and transformed it into a community designed to be as self-sufficient as possible. Known as the Eco-Village, here the residents grow their own vegetables and use waste paper briquettes for fuel. The whole complex was built with their own hands.
Whenever we feel a bit overworked or something a little bit stressed, and we just drive down to here, we feel ourselves very free, relaxed, and we see that what was here before 14 years and now what is here now. And this really inspires you a lot. Most of the patients, they used to be beggars. Now they are living quite comfortable life, and they are productive. They work in the garden, some help our school. All the houses they build themselves, even the bricks they build themselves. We had one slogan that hill to home. It was a big hill before. We cut the hill and made bricks out of the soil, and later we built all the houses. In those houses, all patients are living.
The 12 hectares of hillside now include vegetable gardens, workshops, accommodation, a school, and a free clinic.
I've started with the cleaning right from the beginning. People come here from all over this area. They walk even for about days, you know. She says she has pain over here. This is a problem that's very common here. They have to do a lot of domestic work, housework, you know. So when they're washing clothes, you know, they're wringing the clothes, you know, they're wringing the water out, you know. This is what they're doing actually. We call it as tennis elbow, although she doesn't play tennis.
More serious diseases have other consequences.
The main problem with leprosy is the social problem, you know, because that's why we founded our organization here. Because the patients were not being taken back into their homes and into their villages, you know, they were all like outcasts.
One of the eco-village residents, Ram Kumari, was 12 years old and already married when she caught leprosy. Her husband left her and she was rejected by her family.
When I came to Shanti, I saw a lot of other people with the same disease. Now I have a new life here at Shanti Sewa Griha. Compared to my previous life, it's completely new. I came to Shanti alone. I remarried, I got a job here, my husband has a job here, and I have 2 children. Now my life is almost perfect. I want my children to study more so they can help others.
At this haven for those cast out by society, costs are kept down by using to the maximum the abilities of the disabled.
Here in Shanti, we know that what person can do what kind of job. Like you see that we have a badly named person, but he can hold one device. He is making all the staircase. So beautifully done. So these kind of things, and this is kind of finding the talents, what is hidden in them.
The on-site school provides an education for children that many of their parents were denied. Shanti Sewa Griha is also finding it makes sense to use organic techniques to ensure no dependency develops on chemical fertilizers or pesticides. The recent success in farming on plots of wasteland in the city shows there are many more possibilities. Just 6 months earlier, this area was derelict, but hard work put in by the former homeless means it now contributes ingredients to the main kitchen.
I had a very difficult life before. I caught leprosy and only my wife could work for our 4 children. Things were tough. When we came to Shanti, all 4 children could study and are now going to college. I enjoy working in the garden, and my wife is a weaving instructor.
Most of the vegetables end up at the organization's main kitchen, where 800 meals a day are prepared, reflecting the expansion since the organization started.
We had 13 leprosy-affected people back in 1992. Now we have altogether over 1,000 people, socially disabled, mentally disabled, and physically disabled. So all 3 categories we have got here in Shanti.
Work is underway on a new hospital building, constructed around a central clean water fountain, which already provides free drinking water to the nearby slum. And if it wins World Challenge, what's next for Shanti Sewa Griha?
We are thinking to expand it, but as the land is quite expensive, we may find other location to set up the same kind of village to place some of our people, and also grow organic vegetable, develop biodynamic farming there, and give the children a chance to live with nature. And this is our next aim, if God permits.
That's all from World Challenge 2008 this time.
So thank you for watching it. And we worked together for 17 years there, and so that is continuing. Yeah, and so we felt to initiate something new after the name of my son, Kevin Rohan. So his name was Rohan, Nepali name, which is very smooth, soft. And my sisters or daughters, they are in Silver Spring, so they prefer their name to have American name, Kevin. So his name was Kevin in his school. And when he left us physically, he's still around me, around our family, around everywhere. We wanted not to lose both of the names. That's why we kept Kevin Rohan Memorial Eco Foundation. Okay.
Can you tell me how do people catch leprosy?
Yes, this is like a 2 type. One is droplet infection, like mouth to mouth, and one is direct touch, direct skin to skin touch. But leprosy is it is contagious disease, but it's less likely to have transmitted to other people. And this is it's caused by bacteria. It's called Mycobacterium leprae. It's sister bacteria of tuberculosis. And so Mycobacterium tuberculosis that hits lungs, and it hits peripheral nerve and the skin. So the Mycobacterium leprae was found by a Norwegian doctor, Dr. Elmore Hansen. That's why it is also called Hansen's disease. And it's easily treated, and it's called poor man's disease. So only the very, very poor man tend to get this disease if they don't have enough food to eat and fight. They have immune to fight against it. So it's easily treated.
With antibiotics?
Antibiotics, yeah. So this is called multi-drug therapy, MDT, like rifampicin, which is treated for tuberculosis. There's other two, like lamprey and it's clofazimine, and rifampicin and dapsone. 3 drugs are used to treat the leprosy. Pardon?
Would you like dimmer lights for this presentation?
Yeah, and I think okay.
It's okay.
So if they, just to let me know if I have to run out of time. So in 2008, December 21st, we lost our son. That was actually, now we were so worried, so traumatized, especially my wife. And that was the first night that out of half conscious, she said, let's do something for the children. Then we wanted to do some separate thing for this foundation. And we established this organization. The concept was born on that very night, but the physical work started in 2010 March, when we went back from the United States. So the idea is to include all the community and make them a sustainable community in terms of education, medicine, or whatever they need for their living. Yeah? So I don't have to read this, you can read it. So Namaste is like our greetings we'll do in the morning, evening, or whenever we meet people. It's called Namaste, like your good evening, good morning, good afternoon. And Nepal is a small country, it is landlocked. Those who haven't been to Nepal or want to know more about it, I'm just telling you about it. And we're surrounded in 3 directions with India, and on the north mountains, and China and Tibet. And this is our small flag, which is only one unique flag in the world. I don't know why.
It's only one what?
An unique flag, like 2 triangulars. And we have 33 million population, and around 1,500 NGO. Apart from government, like we have non-government organization, and one of them, we are also one of them. So we are independent to decide what we do, but we have to get approved by the government. Yeah? Now I'll tell you a little bit more about Nepali government. So the Nepal is land of mountains, land of terraces, land of flat land. It's well-blessed land actually. But a lot of temples, a lot of mosques, and a lot of festivals and celebrations. So this is one of 3 kingdoms in the valley. It's Patan, and 200 kilometers west we have a nice lake and the mountains. And these are the holy mountains, no one can climb it over. So we also have Mount Everest, they are climbed, but there's few mountains are left very holy. And Buddha was born in Hindu family, so Buddha, and there are no discrimination in Hindu and Buddhism. Yeah? And this is the current situation of Kathmandu Valley. So you see the slums and the Bagmati is a holy river running through the city. and it's very badly contaminated. The water quality is like this, nothing can be survived. And this is our smoke and pollution, and it's a very unorganized raging city. So Nepal was, we had civil war for 10 years, and Maoist, it came from China and some part of India, and they actually were very, very strong. And we were ruled under kingship Rana for 104 years, and then king 30 years. And this big revolution came, and king is out now. So we are still on new constitution, they are rewriting it. And poverty is very strong. The 25% of people are below extreme poverty. That means if they don't work in the morning, can't eat in the evening. That's we also see those people in Kathmandu too, and also of course in the mountains. Illiteracy is very high level. Economy is locked because of there's no job, there's no factories, no things like that. But the positive thing, we have lots of natural resources, lot of mountains, soil, sun, human being, everything is there, and biodiversity, landscape, and culture. So these are the two things that we can really take it and then work in that on that land. So we established our foundation in 2008, promoting health and the environment through a synergy of man and land. So we wanted to include everything, man and land and environment and health. So he's my son, who was exactly 7 years old, and I can really feel that every 7 years has its like a transition time. And he was not, you call it baptism, we call Chewar. So he was not, Chewar was not done for him. That means he was still on the, how do you call it, in a spiritual world. Still, yeah, was not incarnated in on the earth, and so we wanted to do something in the community. So for this, we need to be accepted. Yeah, if I was just talking to Suri, and if we want to do something on the land where we want to really do development, we have to be accepted. So we need to know the needs of the community. Otherwise, we will be expelled. We will be thrown out. So we started with low-cost health clinic. The idea was to open Waldorf-inspired kindergarten, and because I'm not importing Waldorf from Germany or from Switzerland, from anywhere. It's the philosophy is very strong, and we are trying to do something locally there with the local resource, local materials, local soil, and folk soil. Yeah? So these are the things that I liked it so much, and we wanted to do this way. And biodynamic farming practices we are doing, and have been very lucky to have this young but old couple from New Zealand. They are originally from Holland. So the Hans Mulder and Enneke, I think you have heard of them. So they have lived their life on biodynamic farm. So they come twice in a year. I take the opportunity to go around the country and teach the community. This is sustainable fuel production. Like you see, when Zuri was talking about recycling or reusing the things, so we are also trying to gather all the paper waste from the embassies, from the cities, make biobricate out of it. And the cow dung we collect it. I'll show you in the photos. And we make cow biogas. And ecological sensitive architecture using waste liquor bottles, shredded paper, and natural mud mortar, and local bamboos and recycled woods. So we don't have any facilities of recycling bottles in Nepal. The beer bottles are refilled. These are refilled, and people, vendor, they come and they collect bottles. But the whiskey and wine bottles, imported wine bottles, are all dumped into dumping areas. So we started collecting them and making house buildings, a pharmacy school, walls like that. Yeah? And to make it more sustainable in terms of financial income, we now just established one eco cafe. So all the vegetables we grow on our farm are sold there, cooked there, and we're trying to invite many people as possible. So I'm going to show you more picture later on. I'm just showing you how the model started, okay? So we're trying three aspects of sustainability, so environmental issues, social justice, and economic boosting. So these are very important for sustainable development. And we're also like having knowledge, imported knowledge or local knowledge. Sometimes in the name of development, we try to push the local knowledge and try to impose. That was very not sustainable. That's what my findings. Knowledge, technology, and money should go together, and the result should be beneficial to people, plant, and the planet. So if I have got the clear result and the vision, then I think we are doing the right thing. And if we are not doing the right thing, we get suggestion from the people, learned people. So this is Dr. Mikhaila Gloker, who was teaching me, and I'm very fortunate that she actually designed one course. I was doing this IPMT, International Postgraduate Medical Course, and because of us 3 people were there, and there were many people, but there were 3 people who were doing community sustainable development, and she designed it. If the thinking, feeling, and willing, if only one thing is working, it fails. So if this should go together and it has to get crossed, this is democratic model. So it has got imposed, and also the people from grassroots coming and asking what they need. So these are all like place, space, time, and moment. We have to put everything on the right moment, right place, right time. This is like bottom of model is always a healthy growth. So we're not trying to impose to the community. We just ask what they need. So those are the little bit of model, and now I just tell you how it started. So this used to be standing for nothing for many years, and we started. This is Katrina, and a friend of Alicia who made connection to Alicia, and we started collecting, renovating this club, and we made a clinic out of it. So we have Dr. Singh, who was speaking in a movie, and he's there. He contributed his 3 years for no money. So that really made us go ahead. And this clinic is now vibrant and helping many community people. And we rented this house for kindergarten, but it was quite expensive, and we had to buy it. We could buy it, and we transformed into a nice kindergarten there. So we have children in the kindergarten. So these are the children from our community, and we have teachers. They are mostly women, and they didn't have any job, but they are qualified. So our idea is also to create job for the people in the community, so that they don't have to go out in the city. And children, the parents have to pay. There are certain parents who can afford to pay, otherwise they send their children in other school. So we offer them good education, and those who can't afford to pay, they have to work 4 days in a month in the foundation, so that they can pay their children. And this is our garden behind the foundation. The foundation is here, and children, they are taken there every week on Fridays, and they know what they are eating on their plate. So this is our little biodynamic garden. And this is the place where we go 2 times in a year, teaching people there about biodynamic. So I need to learn a lot because I never heard about corn, and I was very happy. I had a good discussion in Kathmandu, and also to tell you about, just before I came here, we have lots of volunteers from different countries, and I was asking them because I didn't know more about American Dreams, and I asked them about American Dreams. And they all gave a lot of good feedback, and that was something good for me to learn about it. so that we can work accordingly. So this is Hans Moller and his wife Ineke. They are 75 years. He's 75 years old. She's 72. And these are the people we get from different part of the country, from army or from medical or hospital, the community leaders, not only the villagers. So that's why we make it more powerful and more receptive for people. So this is other part of Nepal, and you can see the people there. It's like you can't. They never grew anything there. It's called Jumla, Midwest part of Nepal. They have hill, they have mountains, but they also have sun and soil. But they never walked. So we were going there just to teach them how to make a proper compost out of their local resources. Yeah? That is the. So this is our biogas plant. We have biogas plant in our foundation, just to let other community come and let them know if they keep one cow or 2 cows, they can have good compost for their garden. This is food for the soil, and also they can make their own gas so that they can cook their food. They don't have to depend on firewood and imported LPG. So the cow, and this is biogas mixture, the cow dung mixture with cow urine, and this is the kitchen, so we cook food out of biogas. And you can see the outside, we have lived lots of different initiatives, so I'm just talking to you about it. We have many women in the village, so you can see a lot of young women, and they never went to school. And this is the time that they feel more offended because they can't read and write. They are mobile phone everywhere, and it's a highly advanced world now. And we have young women, and so we try to invite them. So they tell them that you value a lot, and you can contribute a lot to the society. So these are the people who are making this kind of thing. And this is my wife, Leela. Actually, Usha, she is the chairman, she is the supervisor of the workshop. So these are the jewelries we make, and this is out of soap knot. It is sustainably harvested. You can see outside, it's organic, and we harvest it from the forest, and the women are separating shell and the seed. Shell are used as a natural detergent, washing clothes or washing your body, and soap and then seed are used for jewelries and other things. This is our beekeeping. We also have our beekeeping there, and we use our own honey for our volunteers, our students, our guests, and 74 beehives there, and. So we call 3 Bs, like bees, butterflies, and birds. If they are around you, you are living on an organic farm, organic world. So this is our social part. We're trying to also give some kind of scholarship for children. The money that we collect through many different resources, and we have children literature writers. So they are writing about biodynamic, because I had heard biodynamic when I was over 30 years, and it took me so much to understand, and I'm still trying to learn little. So if the children, at least they hear about biodynamic, and then it will be easy for us to introduce. So the literature writers are writing about biodynamic, what they understand in the children language. And this is literally translated into English and Nepali, so that they can also learn English by reading Nepali and English. And this the book called In Love of Soil. So this is how they wrote, and it's a beautiful book. And this is the library, and just close to our cafe, and this serves all the children from the community. And every evening we have, this is on the community land, it's not in the foundation's land, so that everybody has easy access to come there. And this is the border building, and it's called Poor Man's Dignified House. So if one small family, if they have little piece of land, they can start collecting whiskey bottles and they build their house. So this was built in $300. So this is replicated in Kathmandu by many favorite friends, which I feel very happy. This is our carpentry. This is the land that we recently acquired 2 years before. We wanted to make this kind of research and small land that can be visible. This is our site plan. In 5 years, we wanted to build something there, but because of the earthquake we suffered in 2015 April, so that made us distracted. So if you are still interested, I'll be talking a little bit about earthquake and what we did. Otherwise, I can just stop here. Yeah? So now the land, we developed land into there, and they used to use chemical fertilizer there. So we have started now. This is the cafe, and this is the rainwater harvesting pond, and we got the clay from there and made the cafe. So the cafe invites everyone, international, national, from Nepal and international. So that cafe is 100% commercial, and we serve all the food produced in our foundation. But 100% money money goes to the foundation. That means we want to set a model in Nepal so that government should also work together. That is the idea. Okay, that is our foundation and all the work that foundation has been doing in the last 6.5 years. So, in 2015 we had big disaster that killed a lot of people, and that was especially that hit only only poor people, because all the rich people had good house and strong houses with cement and everything, and the poor people had weak houses, so they all got affected. So these are the places in middle part of Nepal, and the Kathmandu is right here. So Kathmandu also was hit badly, and there were more than 8,000 people costed their life. But not only the people they died, also a lot of effect caused by earthquake. The water resources were dried up. So the foundation we started giving the water to the villages, and for to get one bucket of water, they'll queue for a whole day, and they get one bucket of water back home, and that is a big achievement for them. So, and we were happy enough to be able to serve with the water. And next day, people started coming to foundation, urging for help. And this is the family of many women, and they lost their house. And only the grandma and the granddaughter remained in their family. So this is how all the house got collapsed. The foundation, what it did was, many people had a lot of hope in the foundation, because we started helping with water, and so many people lost their house, about 500 people around foundation, and altogether 8,000. So we started distributing the bamboos and the sheet so that they can erect their own shade for themselves, and especially women, children, elderly people. Yeah, they never had their, everything they lost. And so, and you see a lot of people, they started coming the second day, and we had to deploy police to control and distribute it accordingly. And we have also volunteers, students, so we started going out in the village and did a shade for many families. So that was a big thing that we could do. And all our workers, there are workshop workers, accountant, carpenter, all nurse, they all went to support. And the second other effect was like all the hospitals in Kathmandu was run out of blood. So many people got injured. So we were happy enough to run a blood donating campaign that could help hospital to some extent. And another thing, like we could build 63 shelters under the forest, but you know, people were suffering very cold, and I never realized it. My wife and other friends, they went to see the houses, how they are living, and they are literally living on the floor, sleeping on the floor with thin blanket, and they were really suffering. And then we had a campaign to collect some money, and we could really do a very warm beddings for them, and these are the women, they got support last year, and this year we are giving for 150 more families. So this is another post-earthquake action. So we were lucky enough to go to places where people never saw a doctor in their life. And we went to the school. The school was 76 kilometers away from Kathmandu, but it took about 6 hours to get there because of a very bad road. And this is the library we just inaugurated before I came to America. These are the houses we are going to build in future. So this is just a long-term project for people. This is the idea how to build house using tires and the raw sand. And the house is coming like this. And this is an earthquake-resistant technique out of bamboos, vertical and horizontal bamboos. We are tying together. And these are our crew, building crew. And this is how the house looked like. And this is the first toilet in that whole area. So they always used to use open field. So there's a big campaign in Nepal that, how do you call it, every house should have one toilet. Yeah. And we handed over the house, and this is the color they did. And I was very happy that when we handed over this way, and in this situation, they really made this more beautiful. So this is our family and all our working family, volunteers, and all the workers. Thank you so much.